And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
What you're seeing there is a different angle, and you are seeing President Zelensky's reaction to the moment that President Biden mistakenly called him President Putin. And so you're seeing Zelensky's reaction there right before he went to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin.
What they do,
what concerns do you have about Vice President
Guaranteed
Harris's
blood
ability
transfusion
to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket?
Wow.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, so I think she's not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one. The fact is that the consideration is that I think I'm the most qualified person to run for president. I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
Wow. I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
Joe. Joe.
Whether or not he should be attacked. For example, should Zelensky, he's not. But if he had the capacity to strike Moscow, strike the Kremlin, would that make sense? It wouldn't. The question is, what's the best use of the weaponry he has?
He said that's World War III a year and a half ago.
Getting to him.
What they're doing.
I got a more long-range capacity, as well as defensive capacity. And so our military is where I'm following the advice of my commander-in-chief,
his commander-in-chief,
chief of staff of the military, as well as the Secretary of Defense and our intelligence people. And we're making a day-to-day basis on what they should and shouldn't, how far they should go in. I'm going to go to South Korea. We're going to get the chip. What are you doing? I'm going to get Japan and Korea. I've taken 3 significant and intense neurological exams by a neurologist. In each case, as recent as February. And they say I'm in good shape. Okay?
Sir, you referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's press conference. Thank you, everybody.
We're going to make America great again. Thank you very much for your support.
For 3.5 years have been covering up this glaring problem. The staff in the White House have been covering it up, and so have the Democrats in Congress. Just last month, I brought a couple of examples. Representative Dan Goldman said Biden was sharper than anyone he'd spoken to.
President Biden was nice enough to call me, and I can tell you, this was the day before that interview, I can tell you he was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
Representative Eric Swalwell said that Biden put many of us to shame with his energy.
As he says every day, watch me, and he puts many of us to shame with his energy.
I mean, there are example after example after example, leading Democrats and noteworthy Democrats on the Hill who have not been in the dark about this. They've been saying things I think most of them understand is simply not true, and they've misled the American people.
In reality, 72% of voters say that they believe President Biden is too old. That's according to CNN's most recent polling. Voters have been saying this for quite a long time. The reality is that the Democratic elites are mostly late to acknowledge these age and ability issues compared to the rest of the public. The elites have been forced to reckon with it after the debate just 11 days ago.
Look at my career. I've not had many of those nights. It was a terrible night, and I really regret it happened. But the fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be on faith.can intervene on your way to go to, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea I'm too old.
Fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be out on your way to go, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea that I'm too old. Keep in mind, that soundbite is supposed to be reassuring to those Democratic supporters who have gone wobbly.
Did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
He doesn't think he did. He called into a couple of black radio stations where he said, among other things, this.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman, served with a black president. Proud of the role of the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America.
He's proud to be the first black woman? Not coherent. And even then, we later found out, from the radio host, that the Biden campaign had given her a list of questions to ask President Biden. That is a huge no-no in journalism, and the host was fired for it, but it remains quite telling that in the Biden campaign's efforts to show that the president has not missed a step, his campaign felt the need to feed questions to the hosts for a call-in radio interview. And the president still, even then, failed to deliver in many of his answers. Now, many elected Democrats are expressing concern about this answer, too, although it was quite coherent. George Stephanopoulos asking him how he would feel if he ultimately loses to Donald Trump, which polls have suggested he will.
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do, that's what this is about.
As long as he gave it his all and did the goodest job he could do. That's what it's all about. Is it?
Breaking this hour, New York Times reporting donors have told the largest pro-Biden super PAC that roughly $90 million in pledges are now frozen if Biden remains at the top of the ticket. But this may only be the beginning. Reports claim a coordinated Democratic rebellion is set to unfold during a brutal 48-hour stretch for Biden. An 18th Democrat lawmaker just called for Biden's exit 90 minutes ago. Now we're learning that President Biden privately met with White House Minority Leader Jeffries after his solo press conference last night, where he made several embarrassing mistakes on the world stage.
Everyone knows that we, the American people, tend to rally behind our president during a time of war. So the question is the deep state, the warmongers, and President Biden going to use this fact to get people to rally behind President Biden now to help his reelection chances? Would they really be so demoniac and insane as to risk the future of our country, the world, and the lives of every single American by escalating the war with Russia or doing something to ignite war with China just to stay in power? They would. We shouldn't doubt this for a second.
That's all, folks.
Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my other videos. Please visit my website at samstwitch.com. My Twitter profile is at samstwitch_Sam. My YouTube channel is at youtube.com/samstwitch. I post videos that I cannot post on YouTube on my BitChute channel at bitchute.com/samstwitch.